Americans first became aware of the existence of Hawaii, many Christians came to convert Hawaiian natives to Christianity. Missionaries worked tirelessly to impose their values on the people of Hawaii. Although as the years passed, some missionaries lost their passion for enforcing such a harsh moral code. Amos Starr Cook arrived as a missionary in 1837, but the temptation of wealth led him away from the religious path. With another former missionary, Samuel Castle, he founded Castle and Cook, which would become one of the world's largest sugar producers. The United States government provided generous terms to Hawaiian sugar growers, and after the Civil War, profits began to swell. The McKinley Tariff was passed, which raised import rates on foreign sugar. Hawaiian sugar planters were now being undersold in the American market, and as a result, a depression swept the islands. The sugar growers, mostly white Americans, knew that if Hawaii were to be overtaken by the United States, then this problem would automatically disappear.
At the time of 1891, Liliuokalani had just been crowned Queen of Hawaii, succeeding her late brother. Liliuokalani was independent-minded, unlike her brother, who was controlled by the white, wealthy sugar planters of Hawaii. On the morning of January 14th, it became evident that the Queen was trying to proclaim a new constitution, particularly one that took away the power of the white community.
Lorne Thurston was a leader and key component in the fight to undermine the Hawaiian monarchy. At the beginning of 1892, he had founded the Annexation Club with the declared goal of bringing Hawaii into the United States. When Lorne Thurston heard the news that the Queen was proposing a new constitution, he immediately swung into action. He proposed that a committee of 13 men be made, called the Committee of Safety, to devise means and ways of dealing with the situation.
That night, Thurston approached John L. Stevens, who, at the time, was the American minister to Hawaii and had the power to bring his troops ashore at any moment. Stevens strongly supported Thurston's cause. Thurston and his other men decided it was time to call upon him. This would be the call that sealed Hawaii's fate.
The next morning, Sunday, January 15th, Thurston met with the Committee of Safety. They agreed that Hawaii would need a temporary leader to steer it into the United States once the Queen was overthrown. They chose Sanford Dole, a grandson of missionaries, Williams College graduate, and respected Supreme Court judge. Several years later, Dole would help his cousin's son, James, begin building the fruit company that bears their name.
That meeting was not the only one being held in Honolulu on January 16th. Several hundred supporters of the Queen gathered nearby at Palace Square for a rally of their own, although they did not have any idea how advanced the anti-royalist plot was.
James G. Blaine was another man that made the revolution possible. Blaine was elected to Congress, became the Speaker of the House, and in 1884 he was a Republican candidate for president, losing to Grover Cleveland. 5 years later, President Benjamin Harrison named him Secretary of State. One of his first acts was to appoint Stevens as Minister of Hawaii. Secretary of State Blaine was the man that gave the go-ahead for the Hawaiian Revolution and sent Stevens to Honolulu, where Stevens found Thurston ready to act, and together, the two of them planned and carried out the rebellion.
At 5 o'clock on the evening of January 16, 1893, 162 American Marines and sailors landed at a pier at the foot of Nuuanu Avenue in Honolulu. They comprised an artillery company, a company of Marines, and 2 companies of infantrymen. Each soldier had a rifle slung around his neck and wore an ammunition belt with 60 extra cartridges. The artillerymen hauled Gatling guns and a small cannon. As the soldiers set up camp, the Committee of Safety celebrated. This was the committee's moment of triumph. The landing of American troops guaranteed their victory. All that was needed was for them to proclaim a new government.
That morning, the revolution's only drops of blood were shed. One of the conspirators, John Good, had spent several hours collecting weapons and ammunition. As he drove his wagon past the corner of Fort and King Streets, a police officer tried to stop him. John Good pulled out his pistol and fired, wounding the officer in his shoulder, and then proceeded on his way. This was the only man hurt in the revolution, and that shows just how easily America took over Hawaii.
In a last-minute effort to fend off the inevitable, the Queen ordered her entire cabinet to ride immediately to Stevens. Stevens agreed to speak with one of the cabinet members too, who told him that the cabinet was still the official government of Hawaii. Stevens sent him off with a warning that if the insurgents were attacked or arrested by the Queen's forces, the United States troops would intervene. That statement made it clear that American soldiers had landed not to preserve peace, but to assure a rebel victory. It sealed the monarchy's doom.
All that remained was to make the act official, and at 2 o'clock that afternoon, the rebels did so. They assembled in front of the government house, the official seat of political power in Hawaii, and Henry Cooper stepped forward. He held a proclamation that Thurston had made from his sickbed that morning. The proclamation established a provisional government and named Sanford Dole to head it. Cabinet ministers of the Queen tried to object, but with an American gunboat lying in the harbor and 162 American soldiers ashore, they knew it was over. They went to tell the Queen the news. She then surrendered, but made it clear that she was only stepping down under American pressure. After signing the document with her statement, the Queen ordered her cabinet ministers to give up the police station and the military barracks. The revolution was over, and America now had taken over Hawaii.
The act of imperialism in Hawaii was a huge success. Thurston overthrew the Hawaiian monarchy with a core group of fewer than 30 men. They may have thought they made the Hawaiian Revolution, and in a sense they did. Without the presence of Stevens or another like-minded American minister, however, they might never have even attempted it. But with Stevens' power and a few other men, they took over Hawaii, and today, Hawaii is still a part of the United States.